Oh, crazy. What's up? What's up? What's up? YouTube, it's the one and only Master Mycellf. We tapping in. Today is gonna be a powerful session, powerful mastermind. I got Blood Luna playing in the background for IMC Nation. If you don't know who that is, I encourage you to tap in, hit the link below, and tap in with us. All right, it's gonna be a very powerful mastermind coming to you live from the backyard of Base 5, Phoenix, Arizona. 10 to be specific right now, but I'm really excited to see what it is that we tap into here today. All right, so we'll get started shortly. All right, like I said, man, it's truly an honor to tap in every single time that I come here and I'm a part of the Master's Table. Not just a part of the Master's Table, I've been running the Master's Table. It's my organization and group in which I started back in 2021, in the summer of 2021, and since then we've been creating and growing. And becoming exactly who, and doing exactly what we need to do to become who we need to become, right? So today I'm going to talk about care. We're going to talk about care today, all right? We're going to tap in and go very deep into the subject, all right? We'll see how things, change and evolve as well over time. I'm a proud leader of Base 5, all right? Base 5, there's 5 bases within IMC Nation at this point in time. By the time that you see this, it may be, 10 to 20 different bases across the world, right? Regardless, I'm truly honored to be in a position to lead these other men who are very sharp, very disciplined, very honorable in their practices, and they're dedicated to their practices on a daily basis, right? And I'm one of those men, right? So part of my practice, part of my rituals, part of my exposure or expansion in life is these creations, right, that we do here on IMC TV, right? So this is a worldwide platform that we've been tapping in on for, I want to say it's been, since the beginning of this year, right? So we're now in April, and it's been 4 months, right, or 3 months total that we've been tapping in and growing and, stepping into a new world of creation, right? And you see me, I'm not just me, I'm IMC Nation. Now that's evident to you, right? Now you see all the different streams and all the creations that are taking place behind the scenes. So let's jam out for a little bit. I'm gonna take me a hit and we'll go ahead and tap in, man. Welcome back to the Master's Table. I'm a motivation, a lot of things happen. I guess I'm not gonna take it. It's a little too windy out, so we'll wait for a little bit later. We get some more brothers in the room as well to join and to tap in with us. All right. So without further ado, man, what an honor and a pleasure it is to tap in with you again. I go by the name Master Mycellf, JD, Jordan Amari, however it is that you know me. All right. Welcome. It's an honor and a pleasure to be amongst you again. All right. Know and understand that this is a personal creation of mine that has translated into a Telegram group. Right. So this is a men's mastermind group. And if you have not yet plugged in with the Master's Table, I encourage you to do so, right? There's a lot of value that's being contributed there on a daily basis and every single day. My intention is to enhance those creations and enhance the expansion and really the reach that we have as a collective mastermind, all right? So when you tap in, you're going to see there's several different men from all across the world, right? Entrepreneurs, business, owners, coaches, artists of different sorts, you know what I'm saying? I can go down the whole list, but essentially that is what it is. All right. So don't understand when I come here, I'm speaking right to you under the banner of entertainment. All right. So don't take what it is as I say seriously. I got a helicopter in the background, so I wait for them to pass by real quick. All right. So number one, first and foremost, know and understand that everything that I do and say here is done under the banner of entertainment, all right? So don't take what it is I say seriously. Number two, this is for adults and adults only, all right? No women or children in the room. Number three, all right? No women or children. That's funny. That's what I say at the nighttime lecture, right? No children in the room. If there are children in the room, either put your earphones in or get out the room, go to a different room, because what I say may be X-rated, so you've been warned, all right? Number three, do not break the laws of the land you're tuning in from, wherever it is that you are. know and understand that you are responsible because you are an adult. That's number 4, right? You are an adult. You are responsible. You're an adult. That means that you are responsible for your own actions. All right. And number 5, while you're here, know and understand that you are a master, and I will treat you as such and nothing less. All right. So carry that authority, move with that authority in this life, and know and understand what's possible for you to really, truly, and tap into. All right. Today I wanted to talk about specifically the 7 universal laws that govern our world and our universe, right? And with that, there's an additional universal law, right, that has to do with care, right? So I'm going to go through those laws from what I recall from the top of my mind, and then we'll move forward, right, and continue to expand on this idea, because it's vitally important. It's actually a missing element that a lot of people have no idea how to utilize, right, or how to tap into this element, this aspect of care, right? But it's used in cooperation, right, with the 7 universal laws, right? The laws of the Kemetic religions, if you will, right? The Kemetic laws, the 7 universal laws, are the laws that govern our universe, right? So the very first one is the law of mentalism, right? Meaning that everything is all in a state of mind. Now, I've mentioned this in damn near every episode that I've been creating here for the Master's Table, right here on IMC TV. However, I've gone in depth, to the explanation of how I interpret or how I utilize these topics and whatnot in our mastermind group. I've done it time and time again. All right. You can witness the changes and the evolutions. Look, we have over a year and a half worth of content that's available to you once you join the Men's Mastermind Telegram group, right? So that's going to be available to you in the description, right? But on top of that, today I want to go in depth as to what these principles are, right? So let me go ahead and pull this up. Let me make sure. I think I have a copy of the 7 universal laws, but if not, I'm just going to look them up just so I have reference. I have the book, The Kabbalion, but it's in my cell, and I'm not going to go and do all of that right now. So, it's my favorites. Okay, I don't have it there, but I do have the internet. All praises. So what we're going to do is we're going to tap in 7 universal laws. I don't know what kind of universal laws they operate off of over here. Okay, they're just using different words. All right, that makes sense. Fair enough. All right, so the very first law, like I said, is the law of mentalism, right? So some people may just describe this law as everything being in the mind, right? And that's what it is essentially, right? But how do you apply that? How does that translate to your daily experience? Well, and understand that everything, and I say everything, I mean everything, is going to follow the way that you are thinking about everything, right? Or the way that you think about things. I made this quote, this reference many times. Like I said in the past, I'll probably reference this every single video, right? So if you haven't heard this, I'm surprised, you know what I'm saying? If you're here and you're tapping in and you're watching the Master's Table. But when you change the way you look at things change. Why is that? It's because everything is first in your mind, right? Which is why, I've talked about many times in the past, the element of, okay, there we go. The element of trying to get my train of thought back, all right? I was getting a call right now. The element of evolution, really, right? So everything's gonna follow, the growth or the expansion that's happening. Oh, that's what I was gonna say, the perception, right? So, we have these 6 higher faculties, and these 6 higher faculties have to do with our mind, right? Without going into detail, because I've done that in the past of, what these higher faculties are, once again, that's all within our group, the Master's Table. So if you are interested in that information, all you got to do is tap in with me and tap in with us, right? So join our Telegram group, hit the link in the description below, and tap in with us. But essentially, man, to get to the point, the law of mentalism, it's all in the state of mind. It's a quote that comes from our mentor, AZD. But essentially, everything starts in your mind, right? Everything is in the mindset that you have and the approach that you take on moment to moment basis, right? On how you correlate to life, right? How you are existing in life, right? So an awareness of the fact that, we live in a universe that has these laws that are governing how we're correlating to our reality, then you can know and understand, okay, I can take this law and apply it, right? So I can say, okay, everything is all in a state of mind, meaning that if I'm in a negative situation that's interpreted as negative, or if I'm in any kind of circumstance or situation, I have an opportunity to utilize my mind to perceive or look at things the way that I want to, so I can get the results that I want to get and operate the way that I want to operate and not be subject, right, to anything less than that creation, because everything first happens in your own consciousness, right? So that's what that first law means, right? The first law is it's all in a state of mind, right? Or all is mind. Mind is all. It's the actual direct correlation, right? The second one is the law of correspondence, right? The law of correspondence. What's up, Beast? You being famous right now? We live right now, bro. That's the beast. That's the base beast. All right. The law of correspondence, right? So the laws that are governing our universe allow us to, on the in-betweens, without going into, I don't want to go into too much detail to each one, right? But essentially, you maybe heard the correspondence, as above, so below, or as within, so without. That is a direct correlation to that law, right? So that means that as there is a condition or a state or a consciousness in one manner, there is the opposite, or there is as there is an internal feeling of success, there is an external manifestation of success, right? So it's as within, so without, right? So that, as you create within the feeling or the idea or the words that you know what I'm saying, or I guess you wouldn't have words inside, but you would have the feelings, you would have the consciousness on the inside that you want to duplicate outside. The way that you harness that, right, is tapping in and understanding that on a deeper level, right? As within, so without, as above, so below, right? So that's number two, the law of correspondence. The law number three is the law of vibration, right? Now, I'm not going to go through every single law once again, because I don't want to sit here and bore you. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, you can do the research on these different things, but I'm going to go through these steps that I know to explain, right? So that you can better understand the eighth principle, which is something that I recently had come across, right? But it's something that once you learn to understand and implement and apply on a moment-to-moment basis, you're actually going to correlate to this world completely different, right? And I'm truly interested, anybody that's watching these episodes or anybody that's tapping in, I'm truly interested in you becoming the greater version of yourself, not just the greater version of yourself, but the best version of yourself that's available for you right here, right now. You don't know what's available to you until you start to push yourself out of what is familiar. Push yourself out of what's normal when it comes to your experience on a day-to-day basis, right? And so the law of vibration, right? The law of vibration states that, I actually have it up here, so let me pull it up. To understand, this is what they say, the law of attraction or the law of vibration. The law of attraction is the law of vibration, if you will, right? Because on a molecular level, right, everything is vibrating, everything is moving, right? So let me go to the definition without saying too much. To understand the law of attraction or the law of vibration, let's first understand its underlying counterpart, the law of vibration. The law of vibration decrees that everything moves or vibrates, nothing rests. Everything ever created, from the smallest atomic particle to the largest skyscraper, is in a constant state of energetic motion, right? So without going into too deep into that, you can know and understand that's the law of vibration, right? So everything is in a constant state of vibrating, of motion, right? Nothing is still, nothing is stagnant. Everything is moving and vibrating. And, we don't have the eye to see. Oftentimes, we don't have the eyes to see, right, this level of vibration or this level of motion that's taking place at every single point in time. However, when you are aware of this, you correlate to life differently, right? I know that nothing is the same. Everything is forever changing. Everything is either I was gonna say decreasing, but disintegrating. Everything is either disintegrating or it's further creating, right? Everything is in a state of constant growth and evolution and expansion, or it's constricting, it's devolving, it's depressing, right, back into its material form. However, everything is in motion, everything is moving, right? So once again, that gives you a different correlation to life. Now I'm interested in moving differently in this life, right? So I believe if you're here, you're here with the same intentions, all right? So the next law think it's the law of polarities, the actual law. The laws that they have listed here are listed differently, right? So the next law that they have is the law of perpetual transmutation, right? This law explains that everything in the universe that we can see, hear, smell, taste, or touch together with our emotions is the manifestation of energy in various levels of vibration, right? So yes, so this is the law of polarity, right? Energy is in the constant state of transmission and transmutation. Energy is the cause and effect of itself and can neither be created nor destroyed. That's not the law of polarity. The law of polarity is not here. All right, so that's being called something different. All right, but y'all get the point. All right, I'm just gonna go through these real quick so that you have context. The law of rhythm is the next one, right? The law of rhythm embodies the truth that everything is moving to and fro, flowing in and out, swinging backward and forward. It shows us that there is always a reaction to every action. Very valuable, very powerful when you learn how to apply it. The law of relativity is the next one, right? In the study of this law, we find that all things are relative, including all laws. All laws are related to each other and correspond with each other. Every law must be in harmony, agreement, and correspond with each other. An understanding of the law of relativity will give you the means of solving many of the secrets of nature that seem paradoxical. Right? So everything is relative, right? There's a scale, if you will, right, of what hot is and what cold is, if you will, right? There's an in between, right? There's gradients in this in the middle, right? So how things correlate in that manner is vitally important to understand. The law of polarity is the next one. The law of polarity decrees that everything in the universe has its opposite: hot, cold, good, bad, inside and outside. You have a right and a left side to your body, a front and a back. Every up has a down and every down has an up, right? So this is the law of polarity, right? Knowing that there's polar opposites in this world, in this universe. Very valuable to understand. One of the most powerful laws, right? The law of cause and effect is the next law. Ralph Waldo Emerson called the law of cause and effect the law of laws. This law decrees that whatever you send into the universe comes back. Action and reaction are equal and opposite. Everything in the entire universe happens according to law. There is no such thing as chance. Every effect must have a cause, and in turn, that cause must have an effect. Thus, we have the perpetual, never-ending cycle of cause and effect, right? As a result of me streaming here, there is an effect that's created in the world, right? So as, you know, for every show, for every word that's been spoken, right? When you are speaking your words, you're creating effects in your world, right? That law does not, fail to exist at any point in time, any moment, right, in your existence. So knowing and understanding that allows you, once again, to cooperate differently, right? You know that you're causing effects in this world, and therefore you're not the pure effect of anything in this life, right? You can know and understand and trace back, right? Where was the beginning of this suffering? Where was the beginning of me, living off purpose, if you will, right? These are different things that you can start to calibrate on a consistent basis, right? And so the last official law is the law of gender, right? The law of gender is, in truth, the creative law. This law decrees that everything in nature is both male and female. Both are required for life to exist. Vitally important, especially in this time and era in 2023. The law of gender manifests in the animal kingdom as sex. It also manifests in the mineral and vegetable kingdoms, right? So that's the law of gender, right? Knowing and understanding the law of gender is vitally important to know and understand that, everything has a means of cooperating, right? When I take a drink of this water, what's happening at that moment in time is my body, my mind, my soul is inheriting the water, right? I'm receiving the water at that point in time. Therefore, I'm interacting with the water, right? I'm having a different co-relationship with the water specifically, right? The same thing happens when you ingest foods, right? Think about your favorite food, whatever that food may be. You can put that food into your system and know that it's feeding your system. And as it's feeding your system, you're going to have a different co-relationship, right, to that food, right? You may appreciate that food even deeper. You may, absorb the energy and life source from that food, whatever it may be, right? Or whatever's taking place, there's a co-relationship that's happening that allows life to progress forward, right? There's no way to have a baby without having sex. Why is that? Because there's a energy exchange, right, that's taking place, right? The moment that you the moment that I light this incense, there's an effect that's taking place, right? That is not available until I light the fire for this incense to be lit, right? So now there's a correlationship where the effects are being created here, right? But it required the lighting of the fire here, right? That from this mechanism, that a lighter, is what we think of, or we think of it as normal at this point in time. Put the incense up. Right, so there's a lighting of that, but in order for that to happen, in order for that to insinuate, there is a requirement of me lighting the fire, right, and joining those together. So the joining, the actual igniting of the flame, or the igniting of the incense stick, for example, or whatever it is that you may set to fire. There's an exchange of energy, right, to where the energy is transferred to the object, or the energy is now transmuted and utilized in this manner. Knowing this, I ask you the question: how are you living your day-to-day experience every single day, being aware of these universal laws? What does your day-to-day experience consist of? What does it look like? Because believe it or not, you are living in a world of experience that you're creating every single day. And this world of experience that you're creating, whether you realize that you're creating it or not, it's completely on you, right? Let me go live here on IG. The 8th universal law. What's up, IG? It's Master Mycellf. We here live. We tapped in on YouTube and just wanted to, get y'all up to speed. Y'all get a little preview. This right now, today, we're talking about the 8th universal law. There's 7 universal laws in this world, in this universe, right, that many people are very familiar with. However, the 8th universal law in our existence at this point in time is a principle. It's a concept that many people are not familiar with. However, as of my research, as of recently, I had recently gone into the depth of understanding, what it's like to, coexist in this world, in this universe, with a principle such as the 8th principle, which I'm going to get to, right? So salute to everybody joining on IG. I'm going to get to that subject, if you will, right? But knowing and understanding the 7 principles in which we already covered, right? The law of mentalism, the law of correspondence, the law of vibration, the law of polarity, the law of rhythm, the law of cause and effect, the law of gender, right? Maybe I missed one in there, or the law of perpetual transmutation, I think is what it was. Every single one of these laws, we have the ability to tap into and be aware of, and then look to apply them in our day-to-day experience, right? So how do you go about doing that? Well, you understand the laws first and foremost, right? It requires a deeper level of understanding. But then once you understand them, even on the surface level, right? You understand what it means to have everything that's in your mind, right? Or everything is in your mind. Okay, great. Man, everything is in my mind. So that means that I have the ability to change my mind. And when I change my mind, the things outside of me will change. Okay, great. The law of correspondence, as above, so below. So if I look up, in the sky, and I see something that's taking place up there, I can know and understand that those same things are taking place on some level here on this planet, right, on this earth, because it's as above, so below, as within, so without, as the soul, so the universe, right? There's a correspondence, right? So it's as something is here, there's something that's there, right? That's the formula in which we're working with on that principle. The law of polarity, right? Knowing and understanding there's an opposite there's an opposite to everything, essentially, right? So there's a contrast to me, streaming, and then there's a contrast to me, speaking on a consistent basis, just, around with the people that are around me, right? There's a contrast, there's an opposite there, right? Maybe that's not the best example. There's a male and a female, right? Well, that correlates to the gender, right? So without getting, too derailed from today's topic, essentially the way I wanted to bring things full circle is I want to talk about the 8th principle, right? The 8th principle is a generative principle, meaning that this is what will seal the deal, right? So, man, I'm going to give you if you have been tracking along and been tapped in with, myself, and the other brothers that have been a part of the Master's Table, you'll be able to truly, see how we got to this point right here, right? So there's a progression, right? So if you have yet to see the past episodes, I encourage you go back and rewatch those, because there's a lot of value that's there that's available for whoever to tap into. However, the eighth universal law is the generative principle, right? This is a lost principle, if you will. However, what does the generative principle mean? Well, this would be the aspect of life where you could show the aspect of care, right? You want to communicate the aspect of care to your world, to your universe. And let me give you some examples, right? I remember when I first adopted or rescued, right, the very first dog that I've ever had in life. Her name was Lexi, right? She was a Pomeranian Chihuahua mix. She was very cute. A lot of ladies loved her. You know what I'm saying? That was the bread and butter, right, of my game back then, right? I would, go on campus, if you will. Actually, I don't think I ever took her on campus, but I would just walk around my apartment at the time. This is when I went to the University of Arizona. When I was at my apartment at the time, what I was doing was I was, just taking her out, you know what I'm saying, obviously on a walk and whatnot, but I was also, learning how to cooperate with a dog. You know what I'm saying? I came across Caesar Milan at some point, and I really just dove into that because I didn't realize how passionate I was or how connected I was to, animals in general, right, in this lifestyle. So that was the first time that I truly understood what it was like to care for another consciousness, right, outside of myself. Like truly understood that. Yes, I had nephews. Yes, I had my younger brother and sister, right, my older brother and sister, of course. But those are different relationships. Those are human interactions, however, right? But this was the first representation that I had in my world, in my universe, that pointed to me providing care, right, for a being. And it was that care that I had for this being, for this consciousness that was outside of myself, that allowed me to transfer my emotions, right, to exist better in this life. Better in the sense of, I knew that I was existing for something that was so much greater than just me. Right now it's me, and my dog's name was Lexi. So it was me and Lexi at that point, right? I know that nobody else was going to care for her the way that I could care for her. And the same goes for every single dog that's around me now, right? I have this aspect of care, but this is where I was harnessing, right, this principle, right? So the reason why I'm bringing that up is because, I understood that as a result of my care for this dog, for this consciousness that was outside of myself, I was being supported. And I didn't know this. I wasn't aware of this back then, but now looking back, I'm aware that I was supported through all the trials and tribulations in which I was interacting with, right? So I wasn't supposed to have a dog in my apartment, first of all, not without paying or whatever the case may be, but I was supported with that, right? I had a female girl, my girlfriend at the time, that was around me that, truly cared. And she showed me a different level of care, right, when it came to interacting with animals on a different level, right? So because of that relationship that I was learning to harness with her, right, also caring not just for my dog, but also caring for the women that were around me, right? Because it wasn't just my girl at the time. There were several girls that was around. Knowing and understanding that I had an opportunity to learn how to care, right? Learn how to share, how to provide value, how to add insights to another being's existence here on this planet, then I recognize my responsibility, right? And therefore I was supported, right? Without me being aware of, sometimes I didn't have food to get her, right? So I'd work it out, you know what I'm saying? But I was supported in everything and all my creations that I had on a consistent basis, right? And so me staying consistent with these creations or staying consistent with my awareness of my care for these beings or for this being in particular allowed me to move differently in this life, right? And, there's something different that happens when you actually care, right? Like I actually care about people coming on this show and getting some knowledge and insight, right? Let's say that they don't even make it here. Well, I care about them having an insight or having an awareness or moving differently or sparking their mind to operate differently in this world via Instagram or YouTube or whatever platform it is that we utilize to communicate, whatever medium that is. I'm interested in the growth. I'm interested in the evolution of self. I'm interested in the growth and the expansion of everybody that comes around me. Why? Why is that, Master Mycellf? JD, why do you care? Why do you care? Well, why do I care? I care because I have a choice. I have a choice to care about, I recognize that, when I'm taking care of somebody else or something else, I'm actually enhancing my own consciousness, because it's an illusion that we're separate from anything else. Remember, the first universal law is all is mind, meaning that everything is happening in your own mind, first and foremost. Before you interact or engage with anything outside of you, you got to know and understand there's an internal motion. There's a movement that's taking place on the inside, and that is because you are a connected being, right? You're connected first of all to everything through your mind. Everything is in a state of mind. What's possible when you recognize that you are a creative being that can care for other beings? Not only care, but you actually care. You care about something in this life. And that's the key. Recognizing whatever it is that you care about the most. What do you care about the most right now? Do you care about a football game? Do you care about how that girl treats you, or hooking up with that girl or that guy if you're a female? Do you care about whether the sun's coming out right now or not? Do you care about your mom, doing what she's doing, or your dad doing what he's doing, or your the other people that are around you? There's just so many different aspects, or so many different ways to measure how much you care. But look at what you care. What you care about in this life is where you're directing your energy. And when you get this is actually extremely powerful. When you get it, that the universe is going to provide support for the thing that you care about the most. God, your creator, the universe, higher intelligence, infinite intelligence, source, the originator, the absolute, however it is that you characterize higher consciousness or higher intelligence or infinite intelligence, I think is the best. That's my favorite choice of words to describe that. When you get it, that universal intelligence is going to support the things in which you care about the most. Why? Because you have something, so you have a deeper reason, a deeper desire to push yourself beyond what's on the surface level and go beyond that. Why do you want to do that? Because you care. What does care look like? Well, oftentimes, what I felt with my dog, for example, or what I felt with my girlfriends, my many girlfriends that I've had in my past. Every single one of them, every single relationship that I've had, even with my brothers that are here, right? I have an aspect that's very, very deep, and that is the fact that I care. I care about your evolution. I care about your growth. I care about your expansion. I care. Why do I care? Because you're a reflection of me. And I care about me the most in my world, in my universe. I start with me. Before I interact with anybody else, I know and recognize that I have to take care of me. When I take care of me, I'm allowing my frequency, right, to stay at the level that it needs to stay at, so that I can grow and evolve and become a greater version of myself. You're not going to become who you need to become and do what you need to do in this planet without knowing and recognizing that you have an aspect of care that maybe you've overlooked. I know I was overlooking it in my past. I didn't recognize that I cared so much about, these individuals, or I cared so much about, my past relationship. I cared so much about, the way that I am treating my family, right? For example, my niece and my nephew, not only my niece and my nephew, my brothers and sisters, right? My parents. These are all people that I care about. And why do I care? Because once again, I see a reflection of myself in them. And, true self-love is loving yourself first. Before you interact with anybody else, you got to take care of you. You got to make sure that you're straight. And so recognizing that you're going to move differently in this world. There is a universal law that is it's almost like a hidden principle, right? And it is the aspect of care, right? If you do whatever it is that you're doing in this world, right? You know and recognize, okay, you know, I have the law of mentalism, the law of correspondence, the law of polarity, the law of rhythm, the law of cause and effect, the law of gender, right? The law of perpetual transmutation, right? All these different laws, the law of relativity, right? There's different ways that they describe these laws, but you have all these laws and you utilize these laws to operate in harmony in this universe. As you use these laws to create effects in your world, you recognize your power. Now, to enhance, to package, to put the bow wrap on this package, this gift, if you will, you want to add the aspect of care. No one understands everything happens in your mind. No one understands everything happens in the law of rhythm. Everything happens in the polarity. No one understands everything happens in the correspondence. Everything happens as a result of the law of vibration, right? All these laws are in pure alignment with each other. But I encourage everybody, add this aspect of care and watch what happens in your universe. You will be infinitely supported. Think about any time you provided service to somebody and didn't expect anything in return. Why was that? It's because you cared. You recognize that this person has something of value, or this thing, or this movement, or this thing that I'm attaching myself to. It has value. Because on some level, you recognize that, man, the reason why, a lot of people, I remember serving in a homeless shelter, if you will, when I was younger. I've done many different service projects, if you will, along my path. It's just been a part of my path, part of my evolution here on this planet. But I remember serving, and I was there with my godmother and my mother. And I remember consciously thinking, I'm truly blessed to be here and be doing what it is that I'm doing, right? To be serving, to add value to somebody else. I'm truly blessed. I remember consciously thinking that and recognizing that, some people don't get the opportunity, right, to serve somebody else. But not only that, I had an opportunity to provide for somebody else that I would hope, like, if I was in a vice versa situation, if I was homeless, if I didn't have anybody around, if I, was stranded, if I was so on and so forth, I've done actions in my life, or I do actions in my life that warrants the results of you maybe have heard the golden rule, right? Treat somebody the way that you want to be treated. Well, why is that? It's because we have a co-relationship with this world, this universe, that's not outside of us. Once again, everything is in the mind. So knowing that everything is in the mind, if you see somebody else that's quote unquote struggling, if you see somebody else that needs some attention or some love or some joy in their life, or some encouragement, some hope, it's your duty, when you recognize that, to provide that. To say, you know what, I'm actually going to show you how much I care about myself by caring for you. That's a radical approach, if you will, right? They tell you not to be selfish. They tell you, hey, think about such and such and think about this and all. Well, that's true only because it's dealing with the relationship that you have with yourself. Did you know that? Did you recognize that you're constantly cooperating with yourself and nothing else is happening actually in this world, in this universe? So imagine if you applied the level of care that you did to yourself to somebody else. Now, you may be like, looking at life and saying, hey, that's for myself, man. I hear what you're saying. That sounds good. That sounds great and all of that. But man, how do you care for yourself? Well, that's where we start. Everything starts with the self. The first dynamic that you must learn to cooperate and enjoy is the dynamic that you have with yourself, first and foremost, right? So that's why I started my podcast, started my YouTube channel, and I started my business. It's all called the Self Code, right? You can look it up. The Self is spelled CELLF, code, right? The Self Code. because everything starts with the self, right? Everything starts with and originates from where you start and originate. And that is the element or the aspect of self. So imagine if you began to care for yourself and every single day you made that a part of your daily ritual and daily practice. When you take care of you, how much more can you add to somebody else because you already took care of you today? Look, but I can come on here and speak because I already took care of myself today. I got right with me first. I had to make sure I had to look in the mirror. I had to make sure I was showing up for my life today. And here I am showing up. Why? Because I've done the work that matters. That work is to work on myself first and foremost, and then I can provide value for somebody else. Then I can add value. Then I can go care for somebody else and do something for somebody else. The only way to do that is to first make sure that I took care of me. The proper way to do that. A lot of people do that selfishly, right? Thinking that, when I take care of somebody else, man, I'm doing that so that I don't have to worry about that person no more, right? I'm doing that so they can shut up and leave me alone, right? That's maybe a lot of people's approach, but you have an alternative approach that I'm telling you about, and that is to take care of you, and then know and understand that you can take care of somebody else, right? So I've created several movements with the intentions of helping other people to care, right, for themselves. That's because I care. I care about myself enough to provide value for somebody else, to where if somebody else was coming around and they didn't have any value or they didn't have any way to improve themselves, right, to get better, to do what it's going to take for them to improve their life, salute. If that was the case, the way that I corrected that is I wrote a book, right? I wrote several books. I have 3 books out that are out right now. But my first book is called Purpose Over Pleasures, right? So I wanted somebody to have a script. I wanted somebody to have a process that they could follow that would lead them to taking care of themselves first. So then they can provide, value for somebody else. And this is the cycle that we're creating, right? You take care of me. It's each one teach one, if you will, right? You take care of yourself. You take care of somebody. You take care of yourself. Then you can take care of somebody else. When you take care of yourself, you can now be in a position where you can take care of somebody else. Now that you can take care of somebody else, you can teach somebody else to take care of themselves, so then they can take care of somebody else. And the cycle continues. And it goes on and on and on, and we pick up a momentum, and then you are living, before you know it, you're living in this creative state, this creative vibration that has no end to it. The only end to your evolution is when you are no longer seeking growth through the expansion of your consciousness. And the way that you expand your consciousness, the way that I've learned to expand my consciousness, is to take care of me and then do something, providing service on a greater level that will allow somebody else to take care of them. And when you take care of yourself, now you can once again help somebody else. So that's the little recipe, right? Take care of me so I can take care of somebody else. So then when I take care of somebody else, I teach that person that's taking care of somebody else, or now taking care of themselves, or now taking responsibility for themselves. Now that person can add value to somebody else and say, you know what, this is how I learned to take care of myself. That's my path. That's my purpose. That's what I'm here to do. That's what I'm called to do. I can guarantee you that. I'm here to provide value for somebody else so that they can learn to provide value for themselves. So then they, by providing value for themselves, can learn to teach somebody else. And that's how you change the world. You change the world by changing yourself first. Everything happens from the inside out. And there's a very deep aspect of care that's associated with a lot of different emotions. The center emotion, the key is, a lot of people will, maybe misperceive this or misinterpret this, but maybe not, because I'm bringing awareness to it, is love, right? The emotion that you're communicating from when you are operating in a spirit of care, when you're operating in a consciousness of an awareness of care, now you have an ability to tap into that frequency of love. And man, who doesn't want to be loved? Who doesn't want to experience that deep level of harmony with life? Let me tell you, man, I'm the first to sign up and say, I'm here to experience the greatest version of myself. And because of that, I know that I'm here to help other people become the greater version of themselves. And because of that, I understand that I have an aspect of love for myself that I can share with somebody else and teach them how to love themselves. And therefore, by loving yourself, you show somebody else how to love themselves. And then that once again, the cycle picks up and it takes momentum and it grows and becomes greater and greater and greater. And now we are a community. Now we are a mastermind. Now we are a worldwide tribe of people that are intending on caring for themselves. You care for yourself, then you create effects on somebody else. That's the key to manifesting everything that you want in this life. I guarantee you, if you put the aspect of love and care behind any of your creations, any of your manifestations in this life, watch how much more momentum and support there is that supports that. We have a movement that's called the Focus Movement. If you're not aware of it, let me tell you a little bit about it. Every single day we have focus sessions, right? 45 minutes of an opportunity for you to focus and put your attention and consciousness on whatever it is that your focus may be at this point in time. Recognizing that allows you to move with a different level of momentum, allows you to tap in, allows you to go deeper and deeper and deeper into your own world of expansion. And then when you create your own world, now you inspire somebody else to create their world and to tap into what it is that they have access to. Extremely powerful, man. So hopefully that was valuable for everybody that tapped in. I know I got value out of it just by speaking it and tapping in and, being in the flow. It's part of my role on this planet is to provide service, right? So, I go live here on IMC TV at least one time every single cycle. You can also tap in with me on a personal level. I'll actually attach the link below to the self code for my daily live streams, right? Every single day I go live, I tap in, I provide value. And, just like I did here, right? Talk about, a certain subject or principles and things of that nature, so universal laws, randomly. I just wanted to salute to everybody that tapped in here and was live and interactive and engaging. I definitely appreciate everybody, taking the time to reflect on your own life, right? And taking the time to appreciate yourself, right? Know that first and foremost, all right? So let me go ahead and end here on IG. And then we're going to do a meditative moment, and then we'll go ahead and wrap up for the day. All right. So it'll be about 3 hours, 3 minutes. Understanding the universal principle. Speaking on the in-depth understanding of how to care for somebody else. IMC Nation, IMC TV, the Master's Table, Universal Master Mycellf. Right? So we're going to go ahead and start the meditative moment. Like I said, just about 3 minutes here. So begin with closing your eyes. Take a deep breath in through your nose. And let it out. Breathing in positivity, breathe in again. And letting go of all the negativity. Breathing in again through your nose. And letting it out through your mouth. Taking the time to relax from the inside. And getting familiar again with your internal world, your inner experience. This is a sacred space. The place that you have inside where nobody else can see, nobody else can do, nobody else can move what's going on the inside of you. Nobody else can do that. You personally have an opportunity right now to create whatever it is that you want from the inside. This is your God-given gift, your imagination. How will you use it? Get a clear image on the inside of you of what it looks like and feels like to be and operate as your highest version of yourself. What are the words that you speak? Who are the people that are around you? What are the things that you're doing? Make that clear. Be conscious of your creation. As you fine-tune this inner image, take another deep breath in through your nose. Relax. Let it out. Take another deep breath in through your nose. And let it out. Relax. Enjoy the next few moments of peace. So we come back to our external world. Remember to tell yourself, thank you. Appreciate yourself for going inside, taking the time to script your inner world, to design from the inside. Always remember this is your place where you can create. As you begin to open your eyes to the external world again, reorient yourself and recognize that you always are in control. You are always in a position to grow and become a greater version of yourself today. Through that creative process, tapping into your inner world and constantly showing up. Keep showing up with the intentions of mastering yourself, mastering your spirit, mastering your body, your mind, your energy, your heart, your time, taking responsibilities to a different level and choosing to respond differently on a moment-to-moment basis, all right? So what an honor it is to tap in with you again today. This has been another powerful, powerful session, all right, for the Master's Table. Like if these are valuable to you, if there's any insights or, realizations that you get along the process, comment below, all right? Remember to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And, let's continue to provide value to this world, man. It's always an honor and a pleasure to tap in from IMC Nation, IMC Base 5. Once again, I'm the Base 5 leader here in Phoenix. So, if you're local, tap in with me, hit me in the DMs. You can follow me on Master Mycellf, at Master Mycellf on Instagram. Master Mycellf is spelled M-A-S-T-E-R. Myself is spelled M-Y-C-E-L-L-F. Like I said, man, follow me on the Self Code, and tap in with me on everything I got below. The link for my book, Purpose Over Pleasure, my first book, will be available down below as well. And if you have interested in anything else, obviously just send me a DM and we'll work from there. All right. Without further ado, it's the one and only Master Myself tapping out from IMC Nation. Y'all know what it is. Be the best and fuck the rest, man. Knowledge of self is knowledge of wealth. It's the one and only Master Myself tapping out from IMC Nation. Salute.